What is an adult? I don't know if I've ever really actually felt like an adult, and I also have heard a lot of arbitrary numbers of when you're considered to really be an adult. And in the US, legally, in most US states, you're considered an adult at 18. The first time I came to Germany, I was 21, and by Germany's standards at that time and today, I was legally an adult because it is also 18 here. But if I would have been here before 1974, when the age of majority changed from 21, I would have just become legally an adult. But what rights and privileges did that get me? What could I actually do in both countries at these ages? Today we're going to dissect those different coming of ages in each country in today's video. What age can I do that in my respective country? Hey guys, I am Donnie and this is my wife Aubrey. We are two Americans living in Germany. We're sharing our travels and observations from all around the world. And today we're going to talk about something that we've been observing around here in Germany and in the US, and those are the different coming of ages in each country. Whether it be what looks like little kids drinking alcohol in Germany, or whether it be what looks like little kids behind the steering wheel in the US, we're going to talk about all of these seemingly arbitrary ages in which each corresponding government assigns these privileges to their citizens.
Like we always try to stress, we don't think one country is right or wrong, or we're not trying to convince you of anything. We just think these differences are really interesting. And it's interesting to see the cultural implications of these different age restrictions. There are a lot of exceptions to the rules, and we'll mention a few of them, but we won't go into the weeds with all of those.
Like I've already mentioned, you are legally considered an adult in the US in most states at the age of 18, and in Germany, they have the same age of majority. But what rights do you actually get at that, and what does the age of majority even mean? I didn't know, so I looked up the definition, and it reads like this. The age of majority is the threshold of adulthood as recognized or declared in law. It is the moment when minors cease to be considered such and assume legal control over their persons, actions, and decisions, thus terminating the control and legal responsibilities of their parents or guardian over them. In the US, we often joke about how the age in which you can join the military correlates to the other rights that you're given at different ages. In the US, you can join the military at 18 on your own and at 17 with parental consent. And this seems to line up with the age of majority because until you're 18, your parents are responsible for you because you're not quite legally an adult yet. So at 18, you can make that decision to join the military if you want to in the US. In Germany, you can also join the military on your own accord at 18 or at 17 with parental consent.
Another really important right is the right to vote. In the US, people can now legally vote at the age of 18, but it used to be 21. So the 26th Amendment changed the legal age to vote from 21 to 18 in 1971.
We are certifying the 26th Amendment to the Constitution of the United States.
This came after lots of fighting and protesting because people were saying, if we can legally go to war at the age of 18, we should also be able to cast our vote. In Germany, the legal age to vote is also 18, but it is 16 in some municipal elections. Another difference that we found is the age that you can hold leadership positions. In the US, the minimum age to become president is 35, but in Germany, the minimum age to become president is 40. However, in Germany, the role of chancellor is what more closely aligns with the role of the US president, and you can become chancellor at the age of 18, the same age that you can become a part of the Bundestag.
In the US, in most US states, you can get married at the same age as the age of majority. There, of course, are exceptions to this rule, but for the most part, in most US states, you can get married at the age of 18. There are loopholes in which some states say that you can get your parent or your legal guardian's permission, or the state's permission, or a combination of the two, in which you can get married younger than the age of 18. A lot of states do have a minimum marriage age that they allow you to get married at, usually ranging from 16 to 18, but there are some states that actually don't even have a minimum marriage age. For example, Massachusetts doesn't have any minimum legal marriage age, And therefore, people believe that common law would be in place there, in which girls as young as 12 and boys as young as 14 can legally get married. However, there's nothing actually written that says this is the legal minimum age. In Germany, it is a lot more straightforward and clear. New laws were passed in which 18 is the minimum age that you can get married, period. Before that, people could get married as young as 16, and when these new laws came in place, if you were married younger than 18 and you were still younger than 18, these marriages were made void. Now, whenever I'm saying all of this, it sounds like a lot of people are getting married very young, but this is definitely rare occurrences in both countries. Another interesting note about the marriage age in the US is that nearly half of the US states allow you to get married below their age of consent. Most US states have an age of consent ranging from 16 to 18, with 16 being the most common age of consent across the US. In Germany, though, they have the lowest age of consent in Europe, along with a few other European countries, at only 14 years old. Both countries do have laws to protect these children, though, like the close-in age exception, or in Germany, people over the age of 21 cannot have relations with those below the age of 16, just as an example.
From our experience, the most commonly talked about age differences are the ages relating to driving and the ages relating to alcohol. In Germany, the age that you can drink is much lower than in the US. You can legally buy alcohol at 16 in Germany, with the exception of spirits, which you can't buy until 18. You can't do any of this until you're 21 in the US. However, with a legal guardian present, children as young as 14 can drink beer and wine. Another exception would be in Texas in the US, people can drink with a legal guardian present as young as 18. Another interesting tidbit about the legal drinking age in the US is that it hasn't always been 21. Up through the 60s, most states' legal drinking age was 21, but then with the 26th Amendment, when people decided that if they could fight in the military at 18, they should also be able to vote at 18, they also thought, I should also be able to decide if I can drink. So many states lowered their drinking age anywhere from 18 to 21. However, this led to an increase in drunk driving as young adults who were legally not allowed to drink in their state would cross state lines to go and consume alcohol in a state that they were legally allowed to. In response to this, Ronald Reagan and the federal government decided to withhold federal funding for highways unless states raised their legal drinking age to 21.
In the national interest, to save our children's lives, by raising the drinking age to 21 across the country.
Although they can drink at a younger age than us in the US, we can drive at a younger age than those in Germany. In most US states, you can receive a learner's permit between the ages of 14 and 16 years old, and those come with a lot of restrictions, like you can only drive with someone 21 and up, or with only a certain number of people in the car with you at a time. But in the majority of US states, we can receive our first driver's license at 16. And it's very common that people do that at 16. In Germany, however, you can get a permit that you can drive at 17, but only with a legal guardian. And then Germans can't get a driver's license without these restrictions until they are 18.
There's a few other things that teens in Germany can do that teens in the US cannot. One of them is related to buying tobacco. So in the US, in December of 2019, the legal age to buy tobacco was raised from 18 to 21. However, in Germany, it is still at 18. Teens in Germany can also start going clubbing at 16, but they have to go home at midnight. At 18, they can stay as late as they want, but there are still some 21 and up bars that exist in Germany. In the US, in most clubs, the minimum age to enter is 21 because alcohol is being served. However, there are some 18 and up clubs.
To see a movie in both countries, you're going to have to follow their movie rating system. In the US, the rating system goes from G, PG, PG-13, R, and then NC-17. G, PG, and PG-13 basically just have standards in which they tell parents it may have something inside the movie that they would have to explain to their children below certain ages. Once you get to R, you have to be at least 17 years old to be permitted to go into the movie, or have a legal guardian that will go in with you and say that they approve you seeing that movie. NC-17 though says that only 18 and older are allowed to enter that movie regardless if they have a parental guardian or not. In Germany, their rating system is color-coded and goes from FSK 0, 6, 12, 16, and then 18. If you're going to see a FSK 12 movie, you must be from 6 to 11 years old and with a legal guardian or above. If you want to see an FSK 16 or an FSK 18 movie, you have to follow those numbers with your ages or be above that. So FSK 16, you have to be at least 16 years old. And FSK 18, you have to be at least 18 years old to get inside that movie. However, between both countries, a movie that maybe are in the US could be an FSK 12 in Germany because they have very different standards on what can be in a movie and what is suitable for children of those ages. For instance, Germany has a lot more of a relaxed mindset towards nudity, and nudity can be in a movie that may be FSK 12, and in the US it would be rated very high for people to see those movies. Also, in terms of cursing, in the US, we kind of just stick to if a curse word is said this many times, it receives this rating. In Germany, they look at a lot more at the intent behind the cursing, and that's how they then give the rating to a movie.
We found one more very important age difference between these two countries, but before we go into that one, we again wanted to reiterate that there are always exceptions to these rules. We didn't want to go too much into the weeds on all of these, and there's not always a right or a wrong.
And if you like this video, please go ahead and hit that like button and also subscribe. Hit that bell icon. It would really help us out a lot if you guys did that, because we would love to keep sharing with you these observations that we're making while we're living here in Germany. And with that, our final, very important age difference between the US and Germany.
And this one is the life expectancy between these two countries. Take from it what you may.
Hey guys, dang it, what am I saying?
Your voice is sounding higher and higher. Because people were saying that if they were old...
An example of this would be Massachusetts. Why did I pick the hardest state? This is Massachusetts.
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 Pick a different state. This is too hard.
It's too late.
Why not Maine?
Why don't I just not say the state? It was Massachusetts, but I can't say Massachusetts. Massachusetts.
No, it's T. It's like multiple Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. An example of this is Massachusetts. Massachusetts. Massachusetts.
From...
Wow. Is that you, Rona?
Rona, no.